Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular meeting for November 21st, 2016. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Present.
Trustee Vito?
Here.
Trustee Vogel?
Here.
Trustee Kruger?
Present.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
Trustee Brady informed the board he would not be here this evening, and President Argyros.
Here. Entertain a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of October 17, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Lang, second by Trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Argyros.
Yes. Any changes to the agenda?
Yes, we'd like to remove item 13D per the petitioner's request.
Okay. Need a motion or anything to do that? Or?
Yes.
Entertain a motion to do that?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Trustee Kruger, second by Trustee Vogel. Roll call. 13D.
Okay, it's
Is
Trustee
correct.
Vogel is two?
It's Trustee, is two, yes.
And who's one? I'm sorry.
Kruger.
Kruger? Okay.
Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Argyros.
Yes. Citizens' concerns and comments.
Members of the general public may address the board with concerns or comments regarding relevant issues. The person submitting a petition, concern, or other comment shall be allotted 5 minutes to present their points and to state their name into the record. Ms. Dagapol?
Thank you. Christine Dalgapol, 216 Center Avenue. I actually have two things. The first, as I had to get out of my car to take a letter into the post office this morning because the outside mailbox is still, the one that's held up with tape, is still outside the post office. I cannot turn to go east, which means I would have had to go west, turn into the village. I mean, the new road is great, and I can't wait for the lights to get there, but are they ever going to replace that?
It's understanding they are.
Okay, just wanted to bring it up. I do have something I would like to pass out to each of the trustees. And please excuse the fact that the color printing didn't come out. You can pass those down, please. Thank you.
Sure.
So you're going to have to use your imagination and think it was colored and that there are some words up there. Does anybody see anything wrong with that picture? I thought I needed new glasses when I looked at the December issue of the senior newsletter. I called the senior center and had to leave a voicemail, and those of you who have heard my voice when I get angry, yes, I probably was very angry on that voicemail. I left the voicemail for the director, who, by the way, never called me back. I have many Jewish friends and have no problem with the menorah and the Happy Hanukkah greeting. I have no problem with the Happy New Year greeting. But to see Mickey and Minnie wearing Santa Claus hats and carrying a bag of presents instead of a Merry Christmas and a Christmas tree was not right. Our country was founded on Judeo-Christian values, and while over the last decade, the issue of political correctness has spun way out of control, there is no reason, no excuse, nor no anything to leave out a Merry Christmas greeting in this newsletter. This may have been a mistake on someone's part. Isn't there any double checking of the newsletter before it goes to print? If not, someone should be double checking. I also called the president of the Senior Foundation because its report did not include a Merry Christmas, only a Happy Hanukkah. I was told that it did include Merry Christmas when it was sent in, but did not appear in the printed version. If that in case is the fact, why was that left out? Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't think, just you and I talked, I don't think this was done intentionally. I think it was an oversight. But after you and I talked, it was funny. Today I saw something online that people ask, how come everybody just says Happy Holidays? And they're afraid to say Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or whatever. And why do I wish people Happy Holidays, it stated. Because from the 1st of November to January 15th, there are approximately 29 holidays observed by 7 of the world's major religions. So maybe that's not the answer we're all looking for, but that was something that kind of caught my eye after you and I had talked over the weekend.
Well, it's very interesting.
It is interesting. I've never even thought of
But
that.
I'm
So
still going to say Merry Christmas.
that's correct. Thank you. Okay, next.
I'm going to switch a little bit. Mr. Weber? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Weber, and I am one of the owners of Master Brew. We moved into the Village of Wheeling earlier this year, and I was before this board a little over a year ago requesting a 6B tax exemption. I want to let you know in the time that we've been in Wheeling, we are overjoyed being a member of this business community. My business started in Chicago, moved to Northbrook, and as I said, recently came to Wheeling, and it was a wonderful move, not only from a financial point of view, but also from a community point of view, a labor point of view. And dealing with the village has been a dream compared to the other municipalities that we've been a part of. We did have some issues with plumbing and some road work and the professionalism of the staff, but really more importantly, the responsiveness was second to none. There's only one problem that we've come across being a member of the Wheeling business community, and that is, unfortunately, Wheeling is located in Cook County in the state of Illinois. Problems that you guys cannot solve, but make it extremely challenging and difficult to do business in. Right? You probably know most of these facts, but Cook County is insolvent. The state of Illinois is insolvent. The Chicago Public Schools are insolvent, and the city of Chicago is insolvent. Now, you can argue and say those are not facts. They are facts. By any financial measurement, those 4 entities are insolvent. If they were businesses, they'd be bankrupt because no lending institution would continue to underwrite and finance them. The only reason those 4 entities are able to stay in business is they sell bonds. So the question is, why would the bond market support an insolvent entity, a municipality? Well, the answer is simple. Municipalities, whether it's a county or whether it's the city of Chicago or the state of Illinois, are able to sell their bonds because they're collateralized by real estate taxes, which means it's a pretty much a sure bet. Because if the real estate taxes go, well, we're probably talking about Armageddon. So these 4 entities are able to stay insolvent, technically bankrupt, and continue to sell bonds. Now, the bond holders, the bond sellers, they do great because they're charging those 4 entities 8 times what a solvent municipality or state would pay for bonds. They're able to float and stay in business. Right? We have in Cook County, amongst the highest real estate taxes, we certainly have the highest sales tax in the entire nation. We have the highest tolls of anywhere in the nation in our state. We have amongst the highest gasoline taxes. And no matter what we tax, in Cook County, one thing is certain. Each year when the Cook County Board of Commissioners meet, they have to invent new taxes, come up with a guise for why those taxes are needed as a matter of public safety, and the following year, 365 days later, they're proposing another tax and another important issue. Soda tax, which is soda pop, which is part of my business. If you buy a soda pop in the city of Chicago, you're already paying 10.25%. City of Chicago has a 3% can tax, a 9% syrup tax, and now a penny per ounce. That means on a 20-ounce soda, you could pay up to 35 cents in taxes, almost like gasoline, right? So why would I waste my evening coming and telling you guys probably facts that you already know? You all know these things. You're involved in dealing with Cook County. Well, Cook County has recently ventured into not just taxing business citizens and tax-paying citizens, but also putting in regulations on how they go about doing their business. Right? Our minimum wage in the state of Illinois is 8.25. They're proposing a 65% increase in the minimum wage, up to $13 an hour. Mandatory sick time, right? Now, you can debate whether this is needed or not. I mean, I think we just did for 6 months on TV watching the national election. the haves versus the have-nots, and it's certainly a pertinent issue. But for a business person who's operated in Cook County for 30 years, the last thing I want to do is have any of my decisions, regulatory, taxing, or otherwise, be impugned by Cook County. So these recent regulations that we have, particularly like minimum wage, they can give us use all the guerrilla math and speculation that they want about how this is going to ultimately be good. It isn't. It simply drives up payroll tax, which gives them a larger source of revenue. That's their motive. The motive isn't for anybody that they feel is below a certain standard of living, all right? And no matter what we do with Cook County, no matter how many different obstacles they think that their current taxes will overcome, it never works. Cook County, on the building that I bought here in Wheeling, valued my property at $2.5 million. That means they derive real estate tax on $2.5 million. I paid $850,000 and then put in maybe $250,000 into the building. So I have a building that, after improvements, is worth $1.1 million, but it's being taxed 3 times as high. These are the anecdotes and the evidence for why I would urge you to exercise your home rule powers, all right? And when Cook County proposes intrusions into how businesses operate, the covenant they have with their employees, all right, or the benefits they provide, that we say enough is enough. The charter for counties was never to regulate how businesses do their day-to-day operations. We have a federal government with national laws, and we have a state government that should adhere and implement those things. So I thank you for your time. I hope you understand the concerns that we have in front of us as business people. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Joe. You got something to say? Yeah, sure.
Just so that everyone knows, on that same topic, the president and I are actually meeting with 2 county commissioners on Wednesday morning to discuss some of those very topics. Certainly, this board, myself, and staff are in agreement with your comments and are going to do everything we can to represent you and the rest of the business community.
And we do have 2 commissioners coming as well. Thank you.
Ms. Lewandowski?
Good evening.
My name is Ms. Karina. I have something to tell you, something really nice that happened on on a Sunday. The dignitaries, all the senators and people that really give it their whole 100% of benevolence in their heart. They also took care of people that didn't have Thanksgiving dinner. And Trustee Vito was there, and it was a tremendous, outstanding festival. Everybody enjoyed themselves. There was a band there. All the senators, for the state of Illinois were there, and they were serving the people. It was outstanding. It was tremendous. They took a lot of food in for the poor. The Village of Wheeling food pantry. It was absolutely, everybody was very kind to each other. It was just like, just like God was there. It was outstanding. And we're very glad the Park District people worked so hard to give people meals that are, not on the table on Thanksgiving. And the kids enjoyed themselves. They had games. They had a band there with teenagers playing, and it was outstanding. And there another thing is, like this man was talking about the tax on pop and Gatorade and all that other stuff. We want that to stop. We want you guys to do something about it. We really do want you to do something about it, because it's hurting all the businesses, and it's all hurting the restaurants, the hotels, and also the food stores in Wheeling. And people are not going to stand for this. They want that tax abolished. You don't have to pay $100 with the card or $1.44 for a six-pack of Coca-Cola, because I have a can of Barks root beer with me, and I had to pay a penny tax on that can of pop. Can is like, what's the card, 80 cents? It's 81 cents. And we want you to do something. And there's another thing I have to say. There is a person that is at 1203 that has a noisy motor, a garage door motor, and I'm living like in an elevator. I contacted the association, I contacted management, wrote letters, even contacted the Village of Wheeling, and I even went to the community development and told them about it. We want that stopped. It's waking us up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning again, and then with the card in the evening at 11:30 at night. And they do have a noise ordinance in that category. But everybody was very good that day at the Chevy Chase, and I give them 110% of an applause.
Thank you.
Mr. Horker?
Good evening, Pat Horker, 161 Mockingbird. You ought to fix that. I'm here about the involuntarily annexed properties from back in 2003. Recently, you guys have taken it upon yourself to shut down, I guess, as many of the businesses as you're going to be able to. Back when I was on the board and we annexed these properties, we tried to make it very clear to all of them that the businesses were going to be protected. And I thought, Mr. Ferrolo, we worked rather successfully in constructing a code to protect the existing businesses.
The legal businesses.
Legal
Not those-
business.
Not those that were illegal in the county when they were formed. And that's what's going on here.
I understand
I
that.
can't say too much because we're in litigation, but
I understand
I think
that,
you have
too.
a really fundamental misunderstanding of what was done. Legal, non-conforming businesses, which means they were legal in the county and came into Wheeling and suddenly were non-conforming, have a designation of legal non-conforming. Those can continue. It is those that are not legally established in the county that are illegal and being cited. So there's a real difference, I think, in understanding, Pat.
I do understand the legal non-conforming phrase that occurs in the first sentence of the first paragraph of the code that was written. I remember the conversations we had where it was explained to me that if they could prove that they were businesses before they were annexed, they could stay.
Legal businesses.
I understand your position on the phrase.
Right. That's the fact. That's the law, and that's the fact.
I also understand that the law is how it is written. And that was, no, the law, it doesn't matter any discussions that were had. All that matters for the law is how it was written and how it was approved, right?
Legal nonconforming is a designation under case law in the state of Illinois. We cannot allow illegal businesses to continue.
I'm saying that I understand we're stuck with the way it's written.
Written not only in Wheeling, but written in the case law that applies in the state of Illinois.
Conversations don't matter. What matters is what's in the code book. I understand that. That's fine. But I think it was more of the elected officials at the time were under the impression that we were going to be permitting these businesses to exist until they just naturally phased out, which is why we went through the trouble of creating that entire section, which is why it took so long. I know that the village went to some degree of trouble sending out a survey, politely asking the involuntarily annexed properties, do you have a business? Do you have employees? And the residents politely responded, never realizing that that was going to be used to ambush them, when in fact they were under no obligation to fulfill the survey and return it. So they were misled into providing evidence so that they could be brought in and shut down.
No, I disagree, and I'm not going to answer any more of these questions. Because
Okay.
we are not going to agree on this. So you can finish your 5 minutes, and we will continue with the cases.
I know you
See how
will,
this
and
is going to go.
I just feel it's just kind of, it really doesn't live up to the spirit of what we tried to do.
That's where we disagree, Pat.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. France?
Hi, my name's Mike Franz. I live at 3206 Jackson Drive. And I just had a couple issues. One of them is I sat at home and sometimes I was here to watch the meetings. And as the meetings went by, it wasn't as he says. I listened to him. I'm old, but I'm not senile. I mean, I feel like I'm dealing with Clinton, all the lost notes and messages and stuff where people say they don't have records of what was said. But I sat at home and watched as somebody put it to a vote and someone seconds it, and it goes down. Okay, as long as these businesses remain as they are, they don't sell it, and it's a business that's operated by a homeowner, we will allow them to continue. Somebody says, what if it burns down? Well, then we won't allow them to rebuild. But we will allow them. And now it's changed. You know, and then we started out this meeting by saying liberty and justice for all. I go to St. Joe's every weekend, and on the way home, I go through Dunhurst instead of going down Dundee Road. There ain't a street I go down that I don't see vehicles that are business vehicles parked throughout the city. It's like, are you honestly going to shut every business down, every working man? Or is it liberty and justice for only if you're a lawyer or some job where you can have your white-collar job and sit at home? But if you're a blue-collar worker, forget it. The small people that work here are the same people who go to Market Square and Skippers and pay to the churches here and buy their gas here. There's plenty of money around here, it seems, to get these big hotels where it goes to a corporate or something, or money to increase the airport, that 90% of the people here don't even use it, but we listen to the more air traffic and jets and all, but as citizens we say, oh, well, it's improvements. But it's not an improvement to take the working people here and give them a choice that if you want to continue working out of your house, you're going to have to find a house somewhere else to do that. I think it's wrong. If there's no way of rectifying this problem, it could maybe be handled differently. I'm hearing stories from all the people that are now having to go in front of this litigation and, oh, I need a $5,000 retainer with this lawyer, and this guy's already got $6,000 spent on lawyers. Can't the village approach a person one by one and say, here's what you're doing wrong, and we're taking it item by item. What can you tweak to make it allowable? We say that, oh, if you do upholstery work, it's legal. But a man who does upholstery work has air compressors and nail guns and stuff, but if you do woodworking, you can't do that. It's not legal. It's like, where does it end? I brought up once before, what about the man who, or a college kid who goes out and cuts grass? That's not in the code to be allowed to do. So where does the slippery slope end? But you basically got to put everybody who's not on your list of okay out of work. That's all I have to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Gillia?
My name is Gerald Gillio. I live at 3008 North Schoenbeck Road, Wheeling, although it says Arlington Heights. I have the same questions about the property. I was annexed. I bought the property in 1986. Matter of fact, you're aware of it. You were the broker that got my mortgage. So, so there's some history here. After hearing what the lawyer has said, what the village attorney has said, apparently what has to be done is you guys have changed your opinion of what.
It's not true.
It is
Never
true.
changed.
Sir, you told us your board told us one thing, you're telling us another. I think what we have to do is probably change the board, because that
There's a
seems to be the problem.
misunderstanding.
I'm not misunderstanding.
If the businesses can prove they were permitted by Cook County,
Well, I can.
they were going to be allowed to stay.
And you need a license for that?
You have to show a permit from Cook County before you're
I
at.
have a license from the Village of Arlington Heights.
Show the permit to
I
our
showed
community
it.
development staff. You'll be deemed legal non-conforming. If
What you're saying is
illegal-
not correct, because I've
if you're-
showed it and they didn't do that.
If you're illegal, that's when you'd be prosecuted.
Like I said, I think the problem is we have to change the board, because the people who came forward told us one thing, now you're telling us a different thing. That's all I have to say.
Hi. I would just like to,
Have you signed in?
No, she hasn't signed in.
yeah, no, I have not.
Oh, you have to sign in order to speak before the meeting.
It's not required under the Open Meetings Act of Illinois. Are you denying me the right to speak based on these rules?
That's correct. Those are our rules, that you have to sign in before the meeting.
You do know that there are binding opinions by the
A
OMA.
municipality
This will
has
make you
the right
subject to liability if
to
you
have
deny somebody.
reasonable rules to apply, as we do, and our rules require sign-in.
Please be informed that there are 2 decisions before the PAC in the last 3 years that were binding, that you may not lawfully deny somebody the right to speak if they have not signed it. But you're denying me, so thank you.
Sure.
Staff reports. Director Janik.
Thank you. I've got a couple of construction updates for you relative to Dundee Road construction. The first one is relative to McHenry Road. As you can see, there has been some progress out at the intersection of McHenry and Dundee Roads. They are compacting a stone on the north side of Dundee Road. They have also done substantial excavation and more compacting along the the east side of McHenry Road as it heads north. The schedule for this construction is this week they are intending to finish storm sewer placement and possibly get to, there's a fire hydrant you might have noticed right there in the middle of the future lane on Dundee Road. They're going to relocate that. And next week, they're going to be hopefully paving, doing curbing and paving by the end of next week. Relative to the intersection at Community Boulevard right here, as you can see, virtually everything is done except for the signalization is not complete yet. We're waiting for ComEd and the contractor to get power to the signals, and then they will be turned on. We're hoping, again, hopefully end of next week, that the signals be working.
Can I ask a question regarding
Yes.
Community Boulevard? Ms. Daugapol brought up a good question. We had talked to them regarding moving the mailbox and creating that, what is it called?
Turnaround of some sort.
Turnaround, something within the new street. Is there any correspondence with the post office? Maybe John has that answer too, but.
We don't have any correspondence, but it is our belief, and they have informed us that they would be relocating the mailbox. When? I don't know.
Okay.
John, do you have any more
Any update,
information?
John? Okay. And John Malanoff, have you talked to him?
I have been corresponding with the postmaster, Lilia Sandoval, and the post box has been ordered.
Okay.
And they plan to put it on the grass island so that people can pull in, drop their mail, and go right back out Community Boulevard.
Beautiful.
Not have to go through the parking lot and in the front entrance of the post office.
And I guess the other question I have regarding the existing right, is this, you're going to still be able to turn left out of the post office where the existing post box is now? Or is that going to, because it's an opening there. Is it going to just be a right in at this drive over here?
Closed down.
Right out.
The east side of the post office?
Yes, the existing drive that goes in front of the post office will be closed off. It will be closed. The mailbox will be moved, and that'll be closed off.
Gotcha.
So there'll be a full access right at the light. That's it.
That's it. Beautiful. Okay, good. Thank you, Mark. Okay, 13A.
Okay, new business items listed for discussion and possible action. 13A, presentation regarding the 2017-2021 capital improvement plan in the Village of Wheeling.
Thank you. Director Janik, come on up.
Okay, thank you. Annually, we have a Public Works, engineering staff, we have a presentation relative to the capital improvement program, and that's what we have tonight. This is part of the budget. It's done as a separate presentation, but we are hoping that you will agree with our project schedule, our 5-year plan, and move on for next year and our projects. So I'm going to go through what some of our projects this year, 2016, that we've completed, and then I'll go through some of our projects for 2017. As you know, the capital improvement program includes dozens of projects in our buildings, on our streets. It might be generators for our water towers. It could be lining of sanitary sewers, construction of storm sewers, just about any sort of large project that is considered an important asset to the village is many times, most often, put into this program. We do all the bidding for this. Well, not all the bidding, but generally speaking, we do all the bidding. We do the management of these projects, and our staff here, along with the rest of the Public Works personnel, we all pitch in and do this work. Most of the work is done by our engineering and CIP personnel. 2 of them are here tonight, but we also have another engineer and we have inspectors. But we also do lean on the rest of the Public Works staff as well as other staff in the village for what projects we should do and how the projects are going. So I'm going to start in with 2016 in review. I'm just going to hit on or point out some of the large projects that we completed. I know that you guys watch us all year. Some of these projects are the more important ones, but we are constantly doing projects all over the village. In 2016, we improved approximately 10,400 linear feet of pavement on various streets in the village. The most obvious ones were in Hollywood Ridge and in Eastchester, 2 residential neighborhoods. But we also did substantial work on Jackson Drive and on industrial cul-de-sacs along Wheeling Road. Arlington Club sanitary force main, sorry about that. We did a large, major replacement of a sanitary sewer force main that services Arlington Club. That construction took place behind, to the west of Hollywood Ridge and went along Dundee Road and then went across the intersection at St. Armand and Dundee Road. Very complicated project. Substantial boring was done. There was some open cut as well, but very complicated project that was done at budget. Dundee Road and Community Boulevard, right outside the window here. This was ostensibly an IDOT project, but the village spent approximately $500,000 on various improvements to this intersection. And as you know, this intersection has been a long time in coming. I think it's coming out very well, and we're very close to the end here. Buffalo Creek regulatory floodplain and remapping. This project is a project that we're trying to get more residential homes, generally speaking residential homes, although it does affect the industrial area as well, out of the floodplain. We have been doing this on a consistent basis over the years, been successfully getting properties out of the floodplain. This requires survey work, it requires modeling, hydraulic modeling of Buffalo Creek and other waterways. So far, we spent about $180,000 on this project, probably another $20,000 to $30,000 next year, and hopefully we'll have an answer that takes out numerous homes out of the floodplain, and those residents won't be paying for flood insurance anymore. Okay, 2017. The CIP includes infrastructure improvements and non-infrastructure improvements. Part of it is motor fuel tax fund, money we get from the state that's collected from taxes on fuel. We have a water and sewer fund as well. It's a separate fund, taxing fund that we pay for water mains repair, replacement. At the same time, we do road improvements as well when we're doing these water mains. We also spend, we have a new fund, the Storm Sewer Fund. We'll talk about that later. Major project on South Wheeling Road. But also that Storm Sewer Fund is helping pay for, is paying for the Buffalo Creek remapping project. We also spend TIF monies through the CIP. We have a facade grant, but we also spend substantial other monies doing infrastructure work. Okay. These projects I'm going to be going through are somewhat typical. We do kind of hit on these every year. Sidewalks, sidewalk and concrete work we do. This is both replacement as well as grinding of sidewalks. This is a constant battle. Every year we have concrete that cracks, that heaves, and we need to take care of it. So this is a budget item that's been in the CIP for years, and it's going to be here for numerous more years. New public sidewalk construction. These are sidewalks that we don't have, that we plan for. This year, we're going to be adding sidewalks in conjunction with a water main project in the industrial area. This project will hopefully provide a link to Hintz Road from the Meadowbrook subdivision. So you might be able to walk, you will be able to walk from, say, the park or from this location here, south through Meadowbrook, through the industrial area, and then get to Hintz Road. We also have a plan for Milwaukee Avenue. That's been in the works now for about a year and a half. We're getting money from CMAQ to help pay for that sidewalk on Milwaukee Avenue. It's a very complicated project. It's along the west side of Milwaukee Avenue, basically from airport, the airport north to an existing sidewalk on Milwaukee Avenue. Dundee Road lighting. As you know, we just finished lighting on Dundee Road from Milwaukee Avenue west to Northgate Parkway. This is the second phase of that lighting program. We've been working with IDOT to get easements for the lights. It looks like we're going to be successful in doing that, and we fully expect that this project will start construction this year. Tree planting has been the CIP every year. We have $35,000 budgeted for tree planting in 2017. Our entrance signs need updating. We have $150,000 for the updating of the signs. This is a project that's going to be need to go through through a planning commission and the village board for approval on what the signs are going to look like and what the improvements are around them. So this has got a little ways to go, but we do have a budget item for it. This project is, we have $3 million that we're going to be getting from Cook County to change Fox Point Mobile Home Park once that park becomes ours. The plan is for the property to become the village's, and once it does, we need to clean the property up, or move the trailers, tear up the asphalt, and hopefully make this property something that we can use in the future. But it will cost some money. This is a $150,000 for combined area fire training classroom building. This is up in Buffalo Grove. The village is sharing in this cost. We're paying 1/4 of it. So this is not something that you'll be seeing here in the village, but it's consider a CIP project because of the amount of money that we'll be using, and we will be managing part of it. Community room for Village Hall. This project needs to go through design. we've been talking about this project, and we have $1.67 million set aside for this project. Every year, we do paving, patching, as well as full width improvements. For 2017, we have $1.7 million. $800,000 of it is from our capital funds location for funds, and the other $900,000 is from our motor fuel tax funds. Our focus will be on Meadowbrook East and West, as well as Capitol Drive. These are lists of streets that we are planning on improving the next 2 years. We have a pavement assessment program that we do every year. It doesn't do the entire village every year, but we do portions of the village every year. We assess our streets and determine which ones need to be improved. Generally speaking, we know what streets we're going to be doing at least 2.5 years ahead. 2017, as I previously mentioned, we're looking to do Meadowbrook East and West. We have a large project, the water main project on Carpenter, Shepherd, and Glen Avenues. And if we have money left over, we'll start working on Capitol Drive. In 2018, these are the streets. These are industrial streets that need a lot of work. Those are the ones we're intending on doing next year. As I previously mentioned, we're doing a large water main project on Carpenter, Shepherd, and Glen. It's $2.68 million. Very complicated project. A lot of businesses on these streets. We're going to have to be very careful on how we stage this and what construction is done when, but it's a very necessary project. This is this project, South Wheeling Road project. We'll be discussing this more at a future board meeting relative to the different alternatives for relieving some of the flooding issues that happen on South Wheeling Road. But we've set aside monies for this project. We've set aside $400,000 right now. It could be a lot more than that, depending on what the engineers come up with in terms of alternatives. But the main idea is to drain water from South Wheeling Road, which is right in front of Reynolds Corporation, and drain to Echo Lake. There's substantial modeling to be done relative to this project, and the construction itself is going to take the work. It's going to take some assistance from Reynolds Corporation to allow us to have an easement from Wheeling Road to Echo Lake. The last project I'm going to mention is a structure over the diversionary channel at Wolf Court. We'll be discussing this at a future board meeting as well. This is a TIF monies that will be, if the board approves this project, they'll be paid for with TIF monies. But it is a complicated project and issue relative to access across the diversionary channel to the 17 acres of land that's located along Lake Cook Road. This land has one access location on the off-ramp from Lake Cook Road, and this bridge would provide a full access from Wolf Court as well as from Milwaukee Avenue. As you might remember, the RAM or an easement was provided by the RAM restaurant from Milwaukee Avenue to Wolf Court. This bridge would allow access both from that easement as well as to and from Wolf Court, and then to Wolf Road itself. We're requesting that this 5-year plan for CIP meets approval of the board. I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, Mark. Questions from the board? Trustee Lang?
I did have a question about the easements on Dundee Road for the lighting, and you answered that. But the other comment I had, first of all, it's great to see how much money we're pumping into infrastructure here. It's really necessary to keep our infrastructure up and even improve it. What would you, if you had to estimate compared to our neighboring communities, are we doing a better job at infrastructure and improvements, or average job compared to neighboring communities?
My opinion is that we're doing a better job. than the other communities. It appears to me that Wheeling has consistently spent, maybe not a lot of money, I mean, in terms of infrastructure, but we've spent money on a consistent basis every single year. And I think that we are also spending the money in very smart ways. I think we're spending it intelligently. So I know that surrounding communities are many of them have taken out bond issues to pay for infrastructure. I talk with our guys all the time about whether or not we think we're doing enough, if we think we needed to do a bond issue. Our opinion is that we do not. I think that since we're doing consistently and we're spending our money, it appears, in good ways, and our infrastructure improvements that we have been doing are holding up. We watch it all the time. For instance, we improved East Strong a few years ago. We had extra money left over that we hadn't spent. You might remember we did from Milwaukee Avenue to Wolf Road. We're constantly surprised at how well some of our infrastructure improvements have been holding up. So if you ask me if we're doing basically doing a good job, doing a smart job, if we're doing enough, our opinion is yes. If we keep spending the monies that we have in the ways that we have, and the board keeps providing us this amount of money, we think we can keep up with the issues that we have in the city.
What's amazing is that we're not borrowing any money to do this, and that's really good for us. Is that we're building up these funds. We're not borrowing the money. We're not putting or bonding it out, and so great. Appreciate the work and thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add to that for just a second? And I think that credit really is twofold. One, to the board for adhering to the policies that we put in place that create a funding mechanism for these projects. And second is to Mark and his crew for the preventative maintenance efforts that they put into every bit of infrastructure to make sure that not only we have a current condition assessment, but that we stay ahead of minor problems becoming major ones through our maintenance programs.
Thank you. Trustee Pontos?
Yes, just a few questions, Mark. The sidewalks, and obviously I like sidewalks a lot, on Milwaukee Avenue, from where exactly, when you say the airport, are you talking Industrial Drive, Sumac?
Yeah, from Industrial Drive north to Astor Place. Generally speaking, the sidewalk ends just south of Astor,
I know.
as you know. You probably also know that there are some very challenging topographic changes, unfortunately, along just a couple properties there. And we've been stymied about how we're going to cross some of those properties and not affect more of their property than we have. We're also looking for funding for that portion of property, because even though we have some money for sidewalks, that section between Astor Place and Industrial Drive is going to cost a lot of money. So we have applied to CMAQ through the Northwest Municipal Conference for the monies that are going to pay for that. And that takes time. Also, the design takes time and getting the easement or right away down there. So if you're asking me exactly where, it's going to go from Industrial Drive north to Astor, but also we were going west on Hintz Road to an existing sidewalk that's farther west. So we're connecting. There's also a bus stop, as you know. So this kind of works into CMAQ as well as Northwest Municipal Conference, who like to see transportation connection sidewalks, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get from the bus stations, in this case, the bus station there at just south of Hintz Road, to industrial, where there's people are employed, as well as north.
It's great. I know my neighbors who often walk to, or the past 2 years have walked to the 4th of July celebration at the airport, would be very grateful for a little safer walk. On Fox Point, the money we have is from the county. Will that money also pay for the cleanup that you mentioned?
Cleanup, as well as, I believe, it's purchased the property.
So this transition, and it will be open land use?
It will be open land, that's correct.
And it's not costing the village any money?
I can't tell you that it's not costing us any money. I mean, I know that it's going to cost us some money. Exactly how much it's going to cost us, I'm not exactly sure. I mean, we have obviously legal, with staff costs we've been spending. I'm sure that there's other costs that the village is
going to cost the village, but I don't exactly know those.
Thank you. And then for the flood and draining into Echo Lake, how much can Echo Lake take? It always seems to be quite high when...
Echo Lake actually does not fluctuate very much. I mean, it does fluctuate. There is it does drain to the Cook County sewer. There's a restrictor on Echo Lake. So it is a retention basin, but it does drain out. So, so far, our modeling has shown that Echo Lake can easily take the amount of water relative to where it's coming from at Wheeling Road. So right now, we're 98.6%. John hates trying to do that. But we're very positive about being able to drain the water from the low point to Echo Lake and get rid of the problem, at least for almost any kind of rain event.
And from a non-engineering point of view, I'm assuming that is the path of least resistance and
Absolutely.
certainly the shortest path.
We're also going to be doing some improvements to existing corrugated metal pipe that's in Wheeling Road, obviously under the roadway. We have to replace some of that as well. But it really has been amazing to see some of the improvements that we've made, as well as just cleaning pipe and lining it, how much effect that has on positive drainage in Wheeling so far.
Thank you.
Trustee Vito?
Yeah, just another kind of engineering Echo Lake question, because it seems like if you're going from that spot back to Echo Lake, aren't you going uphill and against the flow of the water? Because doesn't the water go from like Polo Run to Ridgefield to Echo Lake and
That's
then
correct.
down?
And then it goes to Cook County Sewer. It
It's not going to be some
It doesn't
crazy
appear.
feed?
It doesn't appear that it's down, but Echo Lake, because you have to go up into the parking lot. But
Right.
actually, Echo Lake, then you have to go back down to Echo Lake, and we can feed it by gravity.
Oh.
It doesn't look like it, but you can.
Trustee Kruger?
Just a quick question, curiosity. Who do we share the combined area fire training classroom building with?
Buffalo Grove, I believe it's Buffalo Grove.
No. It's
No?
No, I'm sorry. I was saying no to Tina, sorry. It's Buffalo Grove, Lincolnshire, and see, Steve's just going to let me hang. Buffalo Grove, Lincolnshire, Deerfield.
Bannockburn.
Not Bannockburn. I don't think. No, it's not.
Riverwoods?
Saw it in here.
Riverwoods, Bannockburn.
Riverwoods Fire Protection District.
Yeah.
Who am I missing?
I got
That's it,
Lincolnshire,
then us, number
Riverwoods,
four.
Long Grove, Buffalo Grove, and ourselves. That would be four.
Long Grove, that's it.
Long Grove,
Yep.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, good job. Staff, engineering, and everything else. This is a very aggressive capital improvements program. 5-year layout budget. It's probably one of the largest ones I've seen since I've sat up here. It's almost $45 million. And one thing I think we all should be proud of is that we didn't have to go out and bond and mortgage the house for it to do these projects. And there's a lot of things in the budget itself that actually came out of the strategic plan that we all did about 1.5 years ago. So that's also nice to see in there. But thanks for not forgetting about that and getting those programs in place. Good job. Good job with the entire staff. I appreciate it. And I know we all do. Thanks.
So one more point is that you should know that we spend over 90% of these monies every year now. Probably like 94%. So the money that you do give us, we spend it. And that's really these two guys right here.
Great job. Thank you. 13B.
13B, resolution of the corporate authorities to determine the amount of the tax levy for the 2016 tax year.
Thank you. Director Manishing.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before you tonight is the resolution determining what the tax levy will be for the 2016 tax levy year. The Truth in Taxation law requires the village board to approve an estimate of the tax levy at least 20 days before approving the tax levy ordinances. And so that's the purpose of tonight's resolution. The resolution was approved consistent with the direction that the village board gave to staff a little over a week ago at our budget meeting. And so the total levy, proposed levy, is $14.7 million for 2016. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Michael. Questions from the board? Entertain a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion by trustee Lang,
Second.
second by trustee Papantos. Roll call?
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Argyros?
Yes. 13C, 1 and 2, read them both.
Okay. Public hearing and resolution regarding a request for Cook County Class 6B with special circumstances real estate tax assessment classification for the property located at 511 Glen Avenue. C1 is a public hearing regarding request for Cook County Class 6B property tax classification from 511 Glen LLC contract purchaser. And 2 is resolution consenting to Cook County Class 6B real estate tax assessment classification for the properties located at 511 Glen Avenue in the village of Wheeling, Illinois.
Thank you. Are the petitioners here? They can step up to the podium. Director Malanaphy?
Thank you, President Argyros. Economic Development staff received an application for a Class 6B real estate property tax classification incentive from 511 Glen LLC. The applicant will acquire and substantially rehabilitate and occupy the subject property for lease to Bathing Brands, doing business as Accurate Industries. Bathing Brands specializes in the design, build, assembly, sales, distribution, and installation of bathing environments, including shower, steam rooms, sauna spaces for clients in Illinois and throughout the nation, both residential and commercial. This includes service equipment to health clubs, hotels, spas, and other customers. They've been in Wheeling, Bathing Brands, since January 2001, and the company has outgrown its facilities of approximately 15,000 square feet at 441 Carpenter Avenue in Wheeling. According to the company, a larger facility is necessary to accommodate continued and anticipated growth. A search was conducted throughout the area, including multiple sites in Lake County. The company identified the subject property at 511 Glen Avenue as suitable. The property is comprised of approximately 56,000 square feet, situated on a 187,000 square foot site. The property had struggled with underutilization since 2013, when the previous occupant, Hawk Electronics, began to reduce its operations footprint and employment base. The subject property was 40% vacant in 2013, 50% vacant in 2014, 60% vacant in 2015, and 65% vacant for most of 2016 until the property was completely vacated in September this year. While the period of 100% occupancy is less than 24 contiguous months, a number of special circumstances exist at the property, including the age, the obsolescence, deterioration, depreciation of maintenance, and the applicant desires to renovate or rehabilitate the building. It was built in 1971, is over 45 years old, with a lower 18-foot clear height. The prospective purchaser desires to allocate approximately $768,000 for repair and substantial rehabilitation. This work would include repair and a replacement of the HVAC units, water heaters, replacement of deteriorated brick, tuck pointing and waterproofing the building exterior, replacement of exterior doors and windows, replacement of pavement and asphalt parking lots and driveways, replacement of concrete parking and driveway pads in front of the building, interior demolition and remodeling in the office and break areas, updated landscaping installation, wood shop construction, marketing and design space construction, and more. The applicant is applying for the Class 6B property tax classification with special circumstances based on substantial reoccupation of an abandoned property that has been vacant for less than 24 contiguous months and with a purchase for value. If the applicant proceeds with purchasing the subject property, they would immediately begin rehabilitation to prepare the subject property for occupancy by Bathing Brands. Bathing Brand currently employs 35 full-time permanent employees. They project an additional 10 full-time permanent positions would be created by 2019, and the applicant also projects approximately 10 to 12 temporary construction jobs would be created during the rehabilitation. Village staff has reviewed the application and recommends approval of the Class 6B property tax classification with special circumstances and with substantial rehabilitation. This action would return the building to productive manufacturing use and increase employment in Wheeling.
Thank you, John. Good evening, gentlemen. Please state your name for the record.
My name is Dan Valen. I represent Bathing Brands Accurate Industries.
Thank you, Dan.
Kip Poncher from Hawk Electronics.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If anybody wishes to speak regarding this request, please come up to the podium now and do so. Please let the record show that nobody wishes to speak. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to
Close the public
hearing. I'm sorry. Thanks, Jim.
Sure.
Close the public hearing. So, motion by Trustee Vogel,
Second.
second by Trustee Kruger. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Juris?
Yes. Okay, so item 2 is the resolution seeking the 6B real estate tax assessment classification. Does anybody here on the board have any questions? Trustee Papantos?
Yes, thank you. First of all, I thank you for staying in Wheeling. You're increasing the size by 3.5 times at least, roughly. Do you have a retail component in your building, or is it all manufacturing?
No, it's retail. We do internet sales nationwide.
Great. And what are your plans for your old building, the building you're moving out of?
Actually, we really want to hold on to the building and lease it to where we can maintain that property as well. Our current owners put substantial money into that building to rehab it, and he wants to keep it and make sure that's a viable property in Wheeling.
And when do you expect your rehab to be done, that you can move in?
Into the new building, ma'am?
Yes.
We're going to start immediately, and we'd like to probably start taking occupancy maybe in February, but a lot of the other work will continue into 2017, like the parking lots and the outside structures when the weather gets warmer. And we're looking to maybe around August, September of 2017 to complete all of our work.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Sure, Jim.
When will 511 Glen LLC close on the property?
If the 6B is granted, then we'll be looking to close as soon as possible, hopefully the first week of December.
Okay, Mr. President, I would recommend that we add a condition to the resolution that the 6B take effect upon the transfer of title of the property to 511 Glen LLC.
Good catch. You okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? Well, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion with the condition that the village attorney stated just a second ago.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Vogel, second by Trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Juris?
Yes. Good luck, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and
Have
gentlemen.
a good holiday.
Thank you.
Okay, 13E.
13E, resolution approving a contract with Northwest Electrical Supply for Milwaukee Avenue median electrical work in an amount not to exceed $52,211.
Thank you. Director Janik?
Thank you. Public Works is requesting that the board approve a contract with Northwest Electric in an amount of $52,211. This will pay for permanent tree lighting and entrance sign lighting for the island at the north end of Milwaukee Avenue. This lighting every year requires that electrical contractor go out there and actually hardwire hardwire extension cords that light the trees on the boulevard. We can't light the sign of the trees at the same time. We can't do various lighting, or the sign won't go off and on at the times we want. It all is all at one, connected as one. This will allow us to have normalized lighting for the trees, new uplights for the trees, and permanent wiring for the trees.
Thank you. Trustee Kruger?
Thank you. Mark, I have really just one question. Why was the bid for this, for Northwest Electrical, so much less than the second lowest bidder?
We don't have, the only thing I can say about that is that we get bids, numerous public bids that we are provided, even if they're not public bids, if we request RFPs, we get bids that are highly divergent in amounts. And that's really up to each contractor. If we see an amount that is there's large difference, we do much more due diligence relative to that particular contractor to make sure that they're going to be doing the work that we expect them to do.
Right, that they have full understanding of what the scope of the project is.
That's correct.
So,
Now, in this instance, Northwest has been in business for over 50 years. They're a known company. We did check all of the references. We do buy equipment from Northwest. We haven't hired them recently for an electrical project like this or in a building. We have in the past, I believe, hired Northwest for things. So we know this company. The reason why they're that much lower, there's numerous reasons why contractors do that. Maybe the contractors above them work to make a higher profit. Maybe they needed a job in this part of North metropolitan Chicago. Maybe they're doing a project close, nearby, and they're already mobilized. I can't explain exactly why. We don't ask that kind of a question.
but we're confident that this bid for this contractor understands the scope, paying prevailing wage, if not union, everything is okay.
Yes, we're very confident.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Papantos?
Thank you. That was my main question. But besides that, Mark, did you just say that you're hardwiring an extension cord? That didn't sound right to me.
Well, what we do currently, we actually do have extension cords. Just like you'll see extension cords out on some of our trees here. The fact is the wiring that's out of that island requires an electrical contractor to hardwire certain extension cords together.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Just a real quick question. Once the electric is put in place on that median strip, will we have options down the road to do some kind of lighting on the trees year-round other than Christmas or the holidays?
This contract will provide 2 uplights per tree.
Okay.
So it will be year-round lighting for those trees. It will not just be for seasonal lighting for holidays.
So that area will make a real nice statement coming in from the north.
Absolutely.
Really nice. Okay. I entertain a motion. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Lang, second by Trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Arcturus?
Yes. 13F.
13F, ordinance declaring a surplus and authorizing the disposal, recycling, or auction of municipal property owned by the Village of Wheeling.
Thank you. Director Janik.
Thank you. This is an ordinance declaring numerous items surplus that the village owns currently. There's some photographs that were attached to this. This is a typical surplus request. It includes a season's greeting sign, certain street pole mounted silhouettes, some chairs, a weight station, numerous items that we don't need anymore. So we request approval.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Trustee Papantos, second by Trustee Krueger. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Krueger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Arcturus?
Yes. Okay. Got my thoughts here. Item 14, official communication. I have a few. I'm going to start first, if it's okay, this evening. First of all, I'm really thankful and grateful to our staff. Yesterday's event over at the corners over here was phenomenal. I mean, the numerous emails I received from residents I don't even know, saying how proud they were to work in this community, live in this community, and to see what they see on the corners there. So I personally want to speak on behalf of the board, our Public Works Department, our Police Department, our Fire Department, our administrative staff, for really getting this thing done. And wonderful crowd, beautiful event, and I thank you all for that. Trustee Papantos, on behalf of the board and this community, our deepest sympathy to you.
Thank you.
Your mother passed away, I believe it was Saturday afternoon, and on behalf of all of us, we extend our condolences to you and your family. Special thanks to, speaking of yesterday, to Operation Warm and the helping hands of Wheeling. a wonderful event at the fire station yesterday, putting coats and hats and gloves on many kids. And that was a real nice event as well, and I thank the fire department for hosting that. The Wheeling Park District, as Ms. Covina said earlier, served almost 300 people, if not over 300 people, at the Chevy Chase Country Club for Thanksgiving dinner yesterday. I mean, really, truly a great event for the community and for that organization and our friends over at the Park District to host that, sponsor that, pay for that, and do it all. So, great event. Coming this Thursday, another good event is Thanksgiving. And our good friend and business owner, Joe Romeo, is doing the same. As last count, according to Ms. Weezer, we're pushing almost 200 people for Thanksgiving dinner on Thanksgiving. I know many of us will be there to help, and I've given the task to do some driving for some people there who aren't able to get there. But again, the outreach and the pour of support from whether it be a park district, whether it be from a village or a business owner, to help those who need that help, and just to have a place to go and not feel alone on a holiday. So I'm thankful for all you people for doing that, and I think it's a testament of what this community is really about. I'd like to take a moment right now just to thank the board and the village staff for everything you guys do every day, and wish you all a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. We're closing out 2016, which is hard to believe, and I believe truly Wheeling has a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful for the lot of successes that we've had with partnerships that bind us together with the other taxing agencies, the schools, the library, the park, between the businesses and the nonprofits, the churches and the civic groups, and between governments at local, county, and state levels. You know, to me, that really builds the foundation of a good community by all of us working together. So I'm thankful for that. You know, it's been years of cooperating, getting organized, and making wise investments, and we're now seeing signs all over this community that I think everybody hears. You know, whether you live here or not, you hear it from people that drive through here that see a very bright future for us. And I'm proud of that, and I'm thankful for that. And I know this board is as well. You know, it's an anxious time right now where there's a lot of Americans who are often reminded that we're all divided, you know, and I'm thankful to belong to a community that knows how to work together. As we see in the paper that, you know, the protests because one election didn't go the right way for somebody that wanted to go another way. There's a lot of turmoil in this country. This community needs to stick together and work together. I'm also grateful and thankful regarding our first responders. Just in the last 24 hours, 3 police officers were shot in this country. And I'm thankful for their safety. And that continues to be a #1 priority for all of us here. Things aren't easy in this world we all live in, and we're reminded constantly of it. Every time you read the paper, every time you check out the news, there are tough times. But I think as individuals, we all are one, and we all need to be one. One, to care about our neighbors, to care about our families, and do the best that we can. You know, there was a lot of things that were said here tonight, and I understand it, I get it, and I think together we'll get through it. But again, you know what? This is a great time of the year, the holiday season. And unfortunately, Mary, your mother's not going to be there. And Dave Vogel's mother-in-law passed away last week. And Ray Lang's mother-in-law passed away last week. So I think it puts a lot of things in perspective, that we should never take it for granted that the people that we love are around us. And we're able to break bread and have Thanksgiving and holidays with them. So again, I can only speak for myself and this board to this community. Thank you. And wish you a healthy, happy, safe Thanksgiving. I know our police officers will be out there, so please be safe. And that's all I have to say at this point. So I'll go to Trustee Kruger. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the spirit of holidays and the lights around Wheeling comments that President Argyris just mentioned, I too am grateful for the staff and all the support and camaraderie and teamwork and spirit that I have seen certainly through the entire time I've been sitting in this chair. But in the spirit of lights around Wheeling, I would like to, on behalf of the board, invite all citizens to show off their lights around Wheeling. So once you have your house decorated, please take a picture of your house, the lights of your house. You can share that with the village, and they will be posted to the Village of Wheeling's social media pages. The email address to use to submit your photos is FB, as in Facebook, at wheelingil.gov. Happy holidays to all, and I hope you all participate. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. Trustee Lang?
Thank you. Yeah, the lights are really amazing. They really made a huge difference, changing it up to LED. It's amazing how many people from other communities are still saying how great Wheeling is and how Wheeling is advancing, and their communities are standing still. It's really a pleasure to hear that, and I hear it often. In some airport information that I have, one thing that didn't make it into the recent newsletter, I want to invite the interested parties to a upcoming quarterly noise meeting at the airport, 1020 South Plant Road. That will be on Tuesday, December 13th. And at this, it's a quarterly meeting that we have discussing, there's a couple residents involved, discussing some of the noise issues with a representative of the FAA. As important, if not more, at 5 p.m. Preceding this meeting, there will be the start of the new committee to study the, it's a study input committee, excuse me, for the noise exposure maps. And the noise exposure maps determine what we will do with sound remediation in the near future around the airport area. And this is a new committee that's put together. Noise exposure maps are supposed to be updated every 5 years. Ours haven't been, but I've asked that they now be put on a regular schedule so they are updated every 5 years. So we'll have this same procedure going on 5 years from now, but we're just starting it where it involves representatives from business, aviation, government, someone from our village staff will be on this committee, myself and members of the airport staff. And again, this 9 to 11 month process will be studying the noise exposure maps in the area, or the contour maps, and what issues there are. And again, it's all based on noise remediation, and we're hoping to do some things with noise remediation in the future. This is the start of that process. So again, that meeting is on Tuesday, December 13th at 5 p.m. at the airport office at 1020 South Plant Road. And then after that, there's the regular noise meeting at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you, Ray. Trustee Vito?
Yeah, I think we should reconsider that W, throwing that W out from Wicks, and we could put it in front of Village Hall anytime the Cubs win and figure out a way to illuminate it.
It is going to the Historical Society, so we can borrow it anytime we want.
Perfect. Good. The event, obviously the lights are beautiful. The event was great. The event before that the Park District did yesterday, the Thanksgiving feast, it was fantastic. And what really struck me, I walked into Chevy Chase and you hear this jazz band. I'm thinking, wow, this is a really nice band. And then I walked in and I see there were young people, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I know Wheeling High School's jazz band is phenomenal. So thinking nothing of it, and I was talking with Brian Lichtenberger and Bill Harrison while we were passing out food, and I said, yeah, the Wheeling Jazz Band sounds great. They said, that's the Holmes Junior High Jazz Band. Yeah. I was floored. These kids are 11 to 14 years old. I guess they're winning awards. If you ever get a chance to hear them, I mean, please do. They were fantastic, like really good. And overall, just a good sense of community yesterday, all day long, all over the town. Very nice. So happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you, Joe.
And Merry Christmas to Miss Doggable.
Thanks, Joe. Trustee Papantos?
Thank you. First of all, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and thank you for your kind words. Mom was a long-term employee here, well over 20 years, so she got the obligatory street sign when she retired and absolutely loved every minute of her service to this village. So thank you for that, those of you. And staff, I can't tell you what a great job last night was for the lighting of the lights. My sister was in town, obviously. She was there, loved it. Can't wait for her grandchildren to see it, and a lot of other people. I have only heard compliments, so thank you very much. I'd also like to congratulate our Wheeling Citizens Police Academy graduating class of 2016. I think we had a record-sized class this year of 40 people who went through a 9-week program, and from what I heard Friday night, they all enjoyed it as much as I did when I went through it 3 years ago, so thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Vogel?
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I was one of those that went through that class, and I'd recommend it to anybody. It was interesting. It's a different perspective when you sit there and hear real-life adventures and things that really happen out there on the force. I guess it was whatever number of weeks it was, 1 week that stood out in particular and that they could repeat any time was the gun range. It was fantastic. And we're going to get a chance to drive or go along for a 4-hour shift in a car, and I'm looking forward to that. So again, I'd recommend that to anybody. It was well worth the time. The time flew. We got there at 7 o'clock, and all of a sudden it's 9:30, and we were still going, and it seemed like time just flew. There was just something going on all the time, and the presenters were fantastic and really showed not only their devotion to their job, but their devotion to Wheeling, the policemen and the ladies, officers that were there. All of them enjoyed themselves, and you could tell they enjoyed their jobs. So that was super to see that also. So I thank the police force for that, and again, recommend it for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Clerk Simpson.
Well, since the Wheeling Historical Society will be responsible for the W, we will make sure it's available next year.
So you can keep it in storage for the bears.
Also, it's that time of year again. Lollipop Lane is starting on December 3rd and will run through December 11th. You can get free pictures with Santa, and it's on Saturday and Sunday, the 3rd and the 4th, and the 10th and the 11th, from 2 to 5, and Monday through Friday from 6 to 8. We changed the weekday hours. We moved it up by half an hour so that it'll be easier to bring your children. So it'll be 6 to 8, Monday through Friday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Manager Svendelos?
I'd just like to reiterate the comments and thank you for them, showing appreciation to staff. I've been in that position out in the cherry picker, putting those lights on, and I know what it's like to be out in the cold, spending the time doing that. And although we had some help this year, it wouldn't have happened without the cooperation from all departments, but of course, most specifically, Public Works. And thank you to everyone for showing up, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Entertain the approval of the bills for November 3rd, 2016 through November 16th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Vogel, second by Trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Juris?
Yes. There is no executive session this evening. Our next meeting will be December 5th. So everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. At this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Kruger, second by Trustee Papantos. Roll call.
Trustee Papantos?
Yes.
Trustee Vito?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
Trustee Kruger?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
President Juris?
Yes. Good night, everyone.